Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to look at the document object model in JavaScript. Click on the subscribe button to get alerts on more videos from my channel. Let's say this is a sample HTML page. It is a static page, so in the runtime, I want to make changes to this HTML page once after the page is loaded or if I click a button. In either case, I'll be accessing different sections of this HTML page. So, accessing the page using its properties and methods means we are accessing the individual sections of this page. So, this is why you have to understand the structure of HTML. Whenever I load a page, the browser creates a document object model for that page, meaning each tags or elements that we have in the page will be constructed in the shape of a tree. So this will enable JavaScript to access these objects to perform a specific action. Let's try to understand how the document object model will look like for this particular page that I've created. So I have HTML head and body, and inside the body we have philosopher's stone and a line about this Harry Potter novel. And using this image tag, I am trying to display the image of that particular novel, which is the Philosopher's Stone. And that is how this page got created. Which means inside HTML, we have got head and body. Under head, we have got the title and a text which says a test page. And under body, we have got 3 tags. And inside each of these tags, we have the text and the path in case of the image file. So with this kind of object model in place, JavaScript converts this static page to a dynamic page. In this model, all the HTML elements that you see here are called objects. We would also come across another terminology which is property and method. Method will define what kind of action we are going to do on this particular page, like adding new HTML elements or deleting the existing elements. Property is used to change the contents of the HTML document. So, to manipulate the HTML objects, we first need to find the HTML elements. We can find the element by its ID, tag name or the class name. First, let's look at the example of finding the element by ID. In this page, we have an ID for the paragraph tag which says favorite, and then the rest of the code is all the same. And inside the script, I'm going to get the element by ID by giving its ID name, which is favorite. And using inner HTML property, we are actually changing the content of the paragraph to this is my favorite novel. When I execute my code, this is how my page is going to look like, where JavaScript is going to place this message in the place where we had the paragraph tag. Next, we have get elements by tag name. This is the example where we are going to get the elements by tag name, which is going to look for the paragraph tag. I've got multiple paragraph tags in this HTML page. Now val is going to have an array of items which are inside each of the paragraph tags. In the next line, we have document.get element by ID of summary. It is going to search for this particular summary ID dot inner HTML. So now we are going to change the content using inner HTML equal to val of 0 dot inner HTML. As I mentioned, val is an array of values and we are going to retrieve the first value from this array, which is going to be this philosopher's stone plus, so I am concatenating that with is my favorite novel followed by val1.html, which is going to be this particular line. So when I execute this code, I'll see that philosopher's stone is my favorite novel, and then I'll have the same line which I have it here. And this is how the get elements by tag name works. Apart from searching for elements using its ID or by using an element or a tag name, we can also find the HTML objects by using the class attribute. We can have multiple HTML elements point to the same class. So let's say I have 2 different tags which are the paragraph tag and the h1. I cannot retrieve the HTML text from both of them at once at the same time because they have got different IDs and different tag names. So I can use a simple class name for both of these particular tags, and I can make use of get element by class name to get the data from all the elements that are mapped to that particular class. So here I have h1 class equal to set1 philosopher's stone. So h1 is going to have the class attribute value to be set1. Then we have the paragraph tag, which again has the class attribute to be set1, and it has this particular one-liner about the Harry Potter and the philosopher's stone. So for the same class set1, I've got two different tags h1 and p with different HTML contents. And inside the script tag, what I'm going to do is give const val equal to document.getElements by class name. This is going to be the output of my HTML page. We also have options to find the HTML objects by using CSS query selector and also from the form objects. I'll be covering these options in the relevant videos. After we find the HTML elements, we can make use of them to update or modify the values in the same or in the different elements. I've been showing you examples on how the inner HTML property works. Now let's get into the attribute property. Let's look at this example where I just have philosopher's stone along with a one-liner, and then I have an image. And inside the script, I'm going to get element by ID of image1, and I'm going to change the height to 210. Earlier the height was 200 and now I'm going to change it to 210. When I execute this code, I can see the height to be increased. And this is how we can update the attributes of the HTML elements. The next one is by using the style dot property. For the text philosopher's stone, I've given the style to have the color to be blue, and inside the script I'm going to update the color to red by giving get element by ID of the ID name followed by dot style, which is going to access the style property. And on executing the code, the philosopher's stone is going to be in red because I have updated it to the color red in my JavaScript. You can also change the style color to red by giving style dot color equal to red. So this is another way of writing the syntax to change the color of that text. We can add a new attribute to an element with the setAttribute method. In my JavaScript, for the ID favorite, I'm going to set the attribute of style to have the color to be green. So this text, whatever is there in the ID, which is this is my favorite book, is going to be displayed in green color. And this is how my output will look like when I execute that code. The third part of this video is going to be about adding and deleting objects from the HTML page. First, let's try to create a new element. So I'm going to create a new element, which is the paragraph tag. And inside this particular element, I'm going to display this text, which is how about you. I'm going to append this particular child to the existing model. So how about you got printed here in my output window. This is all about creating a new element to the existing page. Next, let's try to remove a child which is already there in that particular page. So I'm going to call getHTML by ID of note, and the note is going to hold this one line. And then by giving document.body.removeChild of rm. Rm is the constant value which I have defined for this particular ID. And this script is going to remove this rm, which is nothing but this particular note. So when I execute my code, the line about that particular novel will not be present. The last one is about replacing a child. So in my page, I'm going to have a novel series which is going to list down the novels of Harry Potter. So I've got all the novels here, but by mistake I've got the same novel name printed in the last two list items. And I want to change one of the list item, for which I'll be calling this replace child method, where the existing child name will be moved to this constant novel 1, and the new value will be new val where I'll be calling create text node of whatever value that I want to be placed as the last list item. By calling the replace child method, first I'll pass the new val followed by the old value. So the old value will be replaced by the new value. When I execute my code, I can see the new value to be present here as the last list item. Hope you have got a clear picture of how we can use JavaScript in HTML document object model.